Gospel according to St. Matthew, the 4th chapter. Jesus was led up by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. He fasted 40 days and 40 nights, and afterwards he was famished. The tempter came to him and said, "If you are the Son of God, command these stones to become loaves of bread." But Jesus answered, "It is written, one does not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God." Then the devil took him to the holy city and placed him on the pinnacle of the temple, saying to him, "If you are the Son of God, throw yourself down, for it is written, he will command his angels concerning you, and on your hands they will bear you up, like that you may not dash your foot against a stone." Jesus said to him, "Again it is written, do not put the Lord your God to the test." Again, the devil took him to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their splendor. And he said to him, "All these things I will give you if you fall down and worship me." And Jesus said to him, "Away with you, Satan, for it is written, worship the Lord your God and serve only him." Then the devil left him, and suddenly angels came and waited on him. The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Christ. Last Friday morning was another one of those times where the images we woke up to on our television sets were difficult to distinguish between real life and some disaster movie that was being hyped by Hollywood. Because the earthquake and subsequent aftershocks from the tsunami took place in a highly industrialized and technological country like Japan, we had instant images. We'd seen them before. Cars being washed out to sea and boats being washed up on dry land. We had videos of office workers diving beneath their desks as file cabinets swayed precariously. And then we saw the wave washing across not only seacoasts, but devastating regions as much as 5 miles inland. As I flipped from news channel to news channel, one of the anchors accidentally made his theological observation. "Here we are," she said, looking forlornly at her laptop, "with every technological advancement that we could ever need, but we are helpless. In the face of natural disasters, we are helpless. They are moments that remind us in a very stark and real way that we are not God. That great tectonic plates under land and sea are not under our control. That the winds and the waves do not obey us. and that even things we have tried to build as safely as possible have some inherent danger to them. If you spent even a moment watching the news over the weekend, you have to have come away with the feeling that we are not gods, that we are not in control, that in the end we are puny and helpless. And that is the theological insight that this unknown anchor woman led us to. We are not gods, even though our greatest temptation is to think that we are. It may strike you as strange, but I don't think there was anything particularly original about the sin of Adam and Eve in the garden. They may have been the first, but they were certainly not the last to succumb to the greatest temptation. It is something that we do every day. Forget about that apple cart and listen to the words of the tempter. Eat this, he says, and you will be like God. You'll not only be God's partner, you'll be God's equal. Don't we play God regularly? Not just in our relationships with others. Don't we tell God how to manage our lives, if not the universe itself? Many of us are quite convinced that on a day-to-day basis, we could do a better job handling the universe than God does. We would never have allowed a hurricane to ravage our Gulf Coast, or an earthquake to devastate Haiti or New Zealand, or a tsunami to wash away great parts of Japan. But give us that kind of power. Put us to that test. And most of us would become capricious little dictators, managing the minutiae of others' lives and the life of the world with absolute authority. It would not be pretty, because people who have neither strength nor power on their own, when they get it, often use it in destructive ways. Dr. Fred B. Craddock reminds us, temptation does not involve an obvious or undisguised evil. We first convince ourselves that an endeavor is reasonable and promises good results before we put our mind and hand to it. You will be like God. Could any goal be loftier, he says? We think that temptation comes only to the weak. But this is not so, says Craddock. The weak give in. The greater one's capacity, the greater one's temptations. Adam and Eve could be beguiled by the serpent because, frankly, they were stupid, naive, didn't have a clue what was going on. Jesus knew what could be done with power and authority, charisma and might. And that's exactly what made his temptations so much more alluring. As Craddock notes, Jesus had before him far better offers than Adam and Eve ever did.